stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Citi Prime News. The news is live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra. I am Zoe Abube-Eduardo. Coming up, New Patriotic Party and allied parties protest, demanding the reinstatement of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Meanwhile, Minority Leader calls on the judiciary to speak out and reject the attempts to remove the Chief Justice.
Every member of the judiciary must read this and let your conscience prick you, so that you would also be the next to protest and do a sit-down strike.
Still on reinstatement, youth group in Kumasi calls on President John Mahama to reinstate Dr. Otriadai Mensah as Chief Executive Officer of the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, as the decision to oust him will affect the Heal Komfanochi project.
If all of a sudden the Mensah is pushed aside, it will retard the progress of Komfanochi. And because of this, that's why we are saying that no, we want President to rescind that decision.
Still ahead, we'll hear from the Conference of Heads of Senior Secondary Schools rejecting the Education Minister's claim of poor food quality in senior high schools.
As far as we are concerned, we think that there may be room for improvement, but we think that so far it's been good. That's why the information came to us as a surprise, and we're a bit saddened by what we heard from the minister.
And later, KNUST chapter of the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana suspends a strike after the intervention of GTEC.
And we have come to a conclusion. Today, we, members of Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana, KNUST local and its leadership, suspend our strike action with immediate effect.
This bulletin is live across a number of our partner stations in the Western region. We're on Premier 100.5 FM and Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. In the Bono region, we're on J Live 95.5 FM in Sunyani Ashanti region, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi Volta region, Akpini Radio 96.7 in Pando, Heritage FM 107.3 in Hohoi. In the northern region, we're on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Niendi, Upper East Word FM 88.3 in Zwarungu, Upper West Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura, and in the northeast region, we are on Eagle FM 94.1 in Wale Wale. Across the globe, we are live on citinewsroom.com.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for your time this afternoon. Now, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, has expressed surprise and disappointment over the Education Minister's claim that food quality in senior high schools is poor. CHAS says it has received no formal complaints on the quality of food and maintains that food quality has improved since schools began handling their own procurement. This comes after the minister cited a report from the president suggesting a possible reversal of the policy despite it being a campaign promise. Speaking to Citi News, National Secretary of CHAS, Primus Barrow, said they will comply with any policy change but expect timely delivery and sufficient food supplies if centralized procurement resumes.
We can tell you that there's a lot of, in the media out there where students from various, some schools indicated how the meals have improved in their schools. So as far as we are concerned, we think that there may be room for improvement, but we think that so far it's been good. That's why the information came to us as a surprise, and we're a bit saddened by what we heard from the minister. If today government decides that they are going to go back on their own words and then procure food items to school, what else can we do? We have no option, but to receive. We are prepared. If government decides that they want to procure the food items to us, they will. The only thing is that we will also insist that the right quantities are provided, like the minister has indicated. If that is guaranteed, it is the food items are provided, given to us on time. Not like those days that we rope in 2-3 weeks and no food items come. And when it comes, the weight is another challenge. Money is coming at a time that, things are almost out of hand. And if the writing is not done and we are speaking out, it should not be as safe. We are trying to paint a bad picture about the government.
That was the National Secretary of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, Primus Baru. The leadership of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology chapter of the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana, TEWGH, has suspended its strike effective today. The union on Wednesday, April 30, declared an indefinite strike, citing the unjust exclusion of its members from the newly inaugurated Governing Council of KNUST. Speaking at a news conference at KNUST, Chairman of TEWGH, Charles Arthur, attributed their decision to call off the strike to satisfactory engagements with the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission.
The leadership of TEWU Ghana KNUST local and our one national executive had a meeting with the Director General and his team, Director General of GTEC and his team. We are happy that the outcome of the meeting was fruitful. We are satisfied with this outcome. As a result of that, we demanded from the Director General of GTEC that when are we going to meet? Lo and behold, he gave us the date to be on the Friday, 16th May 2025, that he will be meeting both unions, TEWU Ghana and TEWU TUC. We, members of Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana, KNUST local and its leadership, suspend our strike action with immediate effect.
That was the chairman of the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana, Charles Arthur. Now to one of our headline stories, where a coalition of political parties led by the New Patriotic Party is protesting what it describes as a politically motivated attack on judicial independence following the suspension of Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. The NPP is joined by the Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG, National Democratic Party, People's National Party, and the Ghana Union Movement. Protesters gathered at the car park opposite the Supreme Court and began their march from the Apex Court to Parliament. Speaking to Citi News, former Deputy Attorney General Dinah Asunaba Dapa and former NPP General Secretary John Boydu said the demonstration aims to defend the independence of the judiciary and reject what they call an unconstitutional and politically driven move.
The judiciary as it's set up cannot openly be fighting their own cause. That is why it's incumbent on every citizen of this country, of course other stakeholders, foreigners included, and all users of the courts, the justice delivery system, be up and doing in safeguarding the very democracy we have built over the many years. Because the judiciary being the last vanguard of that should not be toyed with. The whole understanding, the whole conversation around making the judiciary partisan is abhorrent, and every right-thinking Ghanaian should condemn it. And that is why in the midst of these many people with different ideologies, different beliefs, the joy is that there is a commonality, that there is the need to protect the independence of the judiciary. And for me, that brings me joy, that posterity will look back and then thank us for safeguarding our democracy. We are here to do that on behalf of the judiciary. But it behoves upon them to let their conscience, even in their inner circles, their inner space, to speak to them.
It will not help anybody. It will not. It's just like the Electoral Commission. In those days when things were difficult, things were not transparent, our electoral laws were not very good. That's where you may even be complaining about Electoral Commission. Because one, Afraija was there, NDC won 92, won 96. He was there, NPP won 2001, 2004. He was there, we lost 2008 and lost 2012. Charlotte Ose was there, we won 2016. So it doesn't matter. I think that it's important that we come to a realization that we must protect our constitutional bodies. If not, it will be a ding-dong or ping-pong game for this country. I don't think that it is the best for this. We've run a democracy for some time now. There hasn't been any major upheavals as compared to the previous republics. So I think that John Mahama will do us a service by not tampering with the judiciary.
You had former Deputy Attorney General Diana Sunaba Dapa and former General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, John Buedu, there. Let's still stay with the protest because Minority Leader Alexander Opinyomaking, while presenting a petition to the Judicial Service, called on them to take a stance and reject attempts to remove the Chief Justice.
There must be an end to bitterness. If this vicious cycle of you did it to me, I will do it to you continues, there will be no further hope for our democracy. We now have two Ghana. The Ghana for the NDC that is in government, and then a Ghana for others who are seen as enemies. This is not a revolution, it's a democracy. So my respected colleague, I am humbly, on behalf of your fellow citizens, presenting this petition to you as a Judicial Secretary for you to deliberate upon it, read the content, table it before the Judicial Council. Every staff, every member of the judiciary must read this and let your conscience prick you, so that you would also be the next to protest and do a sit-down strike, because it has happened before when Georgina Wood came under attack. Jusak rose to her defense. The Judges and Magistrates Association rose to her defense, and that stopped the Atamo's government. The time again has come for you, the judiciary, to rise. Don't be comfortable because it is Tokonu. Don't be comfortable because you have your own grievances, because you also have a party interest, because the attack is benefiting you. No.
That was the Minority Leader Alexander Opinyomaking. Let's hear now from the Acting Judicial Secretary, Dr. Cyracuse Badinye Bapuro, who received the petition.
Thank you very much. I would like to use this opportunity to thank the leadership of this group for your peaceful presence here. But we are very glad with the way things have happened so far. And I want to assure you that this petition will be transmitted to the relevant authorities or audience, and attention will be paid to it. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you.
That was the Acting Judicial Secretary, Dr. Cyracuse Badinye Bapuro. My colleague Charles Ozukumi joins me on the line now. Hello, good afternoon, Charles. Where are the protesters now?
Well, Zoe, the protesters are currently massed up right in front of the Jubilee House. They left Parliament a few moments ago, and they are now at Jubilee House set to present this petition. Thousands of people here, clad in red and black, being led by the New Patriotic Party, executives of the party, leadership of the party on the parliamentary front, led by the Honorable Opinyomaking, his lieutenants from Parliament, leading these thousands of people, some sympathizers of the NPP, other sympathizers of the other smaller parties, PNP, and other parties who have joined this demonstration to express their distress against what they describe as injustice against the Chief Justice. Of course, we know that the Chief Justice has been suspended by the President. The President exercising that discretionary power that has been given by him, by the Constitution, to suspend the Chief Justice as investigations continue into the allegations that have been made against the Chief Justice. We know that there's been dissenting views since this suspension, notably from the Ghana Bar Association, who have cited Article 296 and asked the President to reverse the decision. Now, these political parties led by the NPP, they are describing this as the executive meddling in the affairs of the judiciary, and therefore are asking the President to rescind that suspension. So they're here. We're waiting for officials from the Jubilee House to come and receive this petition. There were three of them. The first one was given through the judiciary, and now that through the legislature and parliament, and now the third one will now be presented to officials of the Jubilee House. So currently, the situation is that we're just waiting for that petition to be presented.
Charles, we have reported that this protest is organized by the New Patriotic Party and allied parties. Have you cited anybody from the allied parties there?
Well, presently, I have not seen anybody of note from the other allied parties yet. I'm still trying to make my way to the front there. I'm sure since they have expressed their desire to be part of this process, they will certainly be part of them. But I have not seen any of them here yet.
All right, thank you so much, Charles Ozukumi. We'll come to you for an update on this protest organized by the New Patriotic Party and the allied parties. Now, the New Patriotic Party parliamentary candidate for Ablekuma North in the 2024 elections, Nanekyo Osofri, is urging the Inspector General of Police, Christian Teteyohunu, to ensure adequate security for the recollation of election results in the constituency. Ablekuma North has been without a member of parliament since 2024 due to the Electoral Commission's inability to complete the collation process and declare a winner. Disagreements over pink sheets and disruptions by unidentified individuals have stalled the coalition. Speaking to Citi News during the protest by the New Patriotic Party this morning, Ekwe insisted she won the election and called for swift action to bring closure to the matter.
The last time we were supposed to have finished with it, then we saw the NDC tax organized by the Ablekuma North organizer, and they disrupted everything. So we are just waiting for the police, the IGP, to provide adequate security. That's all.
As a stakeholder, have you written to the police individually?
We have done all that we have to do. We've written, Parliament has done the same everywhere. And so we are waiting for it to be collated. Since January 7th till now, 5 months.
What have you been up to this year?
Oh, we are still fighting to be declared. I won the election with 440. It hasn't changed. And under no circumstance, we will leave this seat for them because we won. The people of Ablekuma North deserve what is right. And they exercised their franchise and they chose Ekwe Afriye.
NPP parliamentary candidate for the Ablekuma North in the 2024 elections, Nana Ekwe, if you are still listening to the City Prime News, still to come, youth group in Kumasi calls on President John Mahama to reinstate Dr. Otriadai Mensah as Chief Executive Officer of the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. Please stay tuned, we'll be right back.
City Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers. City Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You welcome back to the City Prime News. Now, President John Mahama has appointed Dr. Pakwesi Beidu as the Chief Executive Officer of the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital in Kumasi. The decision was confirmed in an official statement dated April 30, 2025 and signed by Secretary to the President, Callistus Mahama. The letter directed the regularization of Dr. Beidu's nomination by the Ghana Health Service and Teaching Hospitals Act 1996 as amended. Now, let's still stay on this story because a traditional youth group, the Asante Youth Association, is urging President John Mahama to reconsider his decision to replace Dr. Otriadai Mensah as Chief Executive Officer of the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. The group fears that the replacement could negatively impact the Heal Komfanochi project. Addressing journalists in Kumasi, the association's vice president, Nana Opombwe, stressed that healthcare in the region should not be politicized.
If all of a sudden the MSI is pushed aside, it will retard the progress of Komfanochi. And because of this, that's why we are saying that no, we want President to rescind that decision. And information privy to us purport that the President is not aware. This cabal in most of the government are trying to do this against Asante. And we don't want that to happen. This is about health. And Adem Mensah exceptionally has exhibited very professional as a CEO. And since he assumed office, nobody have heard him maybe making any politics about his work. He's focusing, developing Komfo.
Vice President of the Ashanti Youth Association, Nana Opombwedi. The Ashanti Regional Fire Service has expressed worry over the increasing cases of brutalities and assault on firefighters while on duty. The service has disclosed that in 2024 alone, the region recorded 9 attacks on its officers, with 3 additional mob attacks reported in the first quarter of 2025. ACFO 2 Tete strongly commended these acts and condemned these acts and called on the public to collaborate with firefighters, stressing that they risk their lives daily to protect lives and property. He made these remarks during the commemoration of International Firefighters Day held under the theme, Appreciating Our Heroes, Say No to Firefighter Assault and Fire Truck Vandalism.
It is very disheartening to hear of 9 attacks on firefighters within the region in 2024 alone. In the first quarter of 2025, the command recorded 3 separate mob attacks on Konongo, Mampontin, and the Jusu fire appliances and men. Those that actually involved in this criminal and uncalled for act are not the victims of fires, but rather the lawless, undisciplined, and criminals. Through their act, innocent and vulnerable victims of fires who needed the services of the firefighters are denied, leading to loss of properties and lives. Mostly, the public do not understand the technicalities in fire management. For instance, the Ejusu fire appliance dispatched to Konongo almost 40 kilometers to attend fire, but only to get there to be attacked for coming late.
You heard the Ashanti Regional Fire Commander ACFO 2 Peter Tete. Away from that, the Catholic Archbishop of Accra Diocese, Most Reverend John Bonaventure Kofi, is calling on government to go beyond rhetoric and demonstrate real commitment in the fight against illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey. His comments follow President Mahama's May Day speech at the Black Star Square, where he reiterated his administration's resolve to tackle the menace. Delivering a homily at the St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Parish in Accra over the weekend, Archbishop Kofi described illegal mining as an evil that must not be tolerated, urging government to back their words with concrete action.
Galamsey is indeed a complex war. The President said that, a complex war. But the complexity of it cannot be wished away. We must fight it. We must be seen fighting against Galamsey. President Mahama gave us 120 days ceiling for the fight against Galamsey. You said you would ban it. He said he would ban Galamsey. In your address on 1st May, you told us that you are not overlooking the matter because, he said, our gallant men of the armed forces and security services are up to the task. Is that a make-believe talk, or you must take it seriously? Is that a make-believe talk, or you must take it seriously? You don't want this talk. You want action.
That was the Catholic Archbishop of Accra Diocese, Most Reverend John Bonaventure Kofi. Labour analyst Seth Abloso is calling on organised labour to present a united front in tackling salary disparities within the public sector. He criticised the leadership for what he described as a lack of coordination in engaging key institutions such as the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. His remarks come in the wake of the TEC's May Day appeal for improved welfare and a harmonized pay structure amid stagnant wages and rising living costs. Speaking to Citi News, Mr. Abloso expressed disappointment in what he termed fragmented leadership, accusing some union leaders of prioritizing personal interests over fair wages for all workers.
The Secretary General of the TUC was saying that he had been made aware of disparities in public sector salaries. And I find that strange When was he made aware of that? Because this has been in the public domain as far back as June 2020. The government did not act on the recommendation to address disparities. And I was expecting that, for instance, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission would have been tasked to deal with addressing the disparities and report to government for necessary action. Nothing was done. We didn't hear from any union leader on this matter. What concerns the president and others, they took it. In any case, the May Day celebration was a program of organized labor, not the TUC. The Secretary General of TUC spoke, the chairperson of TUC spoke, the second labor center was sidelined, and then Isaac Bampo of the Forum, which is the third labor center, spoke. The Secretary General spoke, and his views did not seem to be that of organized labor. So everything appears disjointed. You cannot deal with a unified salary structure without organized labor being organized. Because when it comes to determining it, it will be important to have representation from organized labor on any such forum or committee to deal with it.
Seth Abloso is a labor analyst and acting executive director of Labor Policy International. The Chamber of Local Governance, Chalog, has raised concerns over government's decision to pay assembly members' salaries from a central source. This follows a directive from the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs requesting the submission of assembly members' details to enable the payment of monthly allowances. Speaking to Citi News, President of Chalog, Dr. Richard Fiadomo, said the move undermines the core principles of decentralization in local governance.
What government must understand is that the allowances being paid are supposed to be for assembly members attending General Assembly meetings, assembly members attending subcommittee meetings, assembly members attending other meetings that happen at the assembly. It is the reason why they are being paid allowances and not salary. So it beats our imagination why government will want to centralize the payment of allowances, whereas the institutions where the members are operating from are already there and they have what it takes to pay the allowances. So our view is just that we thank His Excellency the President for wanting to pay allowances to assembly members, but the allowances should be decentralized and not be centralized, because immediately it is centralized, I can bet our last bottom dollar that the assembly members are not going to receive the allowances on a monthly basis. And once they are not receiving the allowance on a monthly basis, then they will not take assembly business serious, because a whole month they have not been paid the allowances. But if it is with the assembly, there's no way the assembly will not release the allowances to them.
That was the president of the Chamber for Local Governance, Dr. Richard Fiadomo. Some residents in parts of the Volta region continue to experience persistent power outages despite ongoing efforts by the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Ghana Grid Company to resolve the issue. Affected residents say the irregular power supply is disrupting daily life, damaging appliances and severely affecting small businesses. Business operators are urging authorities to expedite permanent solutions, warning that the current situation is unsustainable and hurting livelihoods.
This issue has been ongoing for far too long. As vendors, we struggle to keep our products refrigerated for customers due to low voltage and frequent power outages. We hope for a permanent solution, as we've heard promises of fixes but seen minimal improvement.
So that was a vendor in the Volta region speaking on the intermittent power outages. Now, Royal Kingdom Estate, a leading real estate company, has donated assorted items and cash worth over 100,000 cedis to the Village of Hope Orphanage at Gomafete, led by the company's Chief Executive Officer, Danny Eliklim Angels, and supported by staff. The donation included baby products, biscuits, beverages, oil, rice, and other essentials. The Chief Executive Officer announced plans to adopt the orphanage as a long-term beneficiary of the company's corporate social responsibility efforts.
Royal Kingdom Estate, as you know, is a one-stop shop real estate solution, and over the years our corporate social responsibility has been very expansive. Our story of from nothing to where we are today actually encourages us to give back to society. In the umbrella of Royal Kingdom Estate, we've got quite a few of widows, orphanages that we have adopted. But why this special one? This May is my personal birthday, and I thought that the best birthday gift you can have or present yourself is to give back to society. and that actually aligns with the vision of the organization as well. Each year we go to a couple of orphanages, but we selected this particular one because of the unique story of prominent people who have come out of this place, and today they are impacting society. That is why we selected this organization, and I'm happy to announce that from now onwards, this is one of our adopted orphanages that we're going to be supporting from time to time. And
that was the Chief Executive Officer of Royal Kingdom Estate, Danny Angels. And that's how we wrap up this edition of Citi Prime News, which came to you live from our studio in Adabraka. Log on to our website, citynewsroom.com, for more news. I am Zoe Abubeidoado. Have a good afternoon.
Citi News, we speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.